Hi everyone. Today we're going to be discussing two of the factors that are in the six most influential moments in the 2020 race. So we have already discussed here on the program here. If we go into the six most influential moments in national polling in the 2020 race countdown, so we had the Buttigieg double surge. He surged twice. That first time was in May. He broke out from the bottom of the pack into the mid-level contenders, and then the second time he broke out from kind of mid-level contenders into uh, into getting into that top tier almost. And then we also discussed Kamala Harris's ultra surge after that first debate, and then the slow but steady fall after that first debate. So today we will be discussing. Firstly, we'll be discussing the fourth most influential moment, the Bloomberg Rise. So if you take a look here, the orange line being Michael Bloomberg, you can clearly see a very obvious rise into kind of Elizabeth Warren, Joe Biden territory, not yet up to Bernie, but in kind of that tier. He was like, if when he was here, we were like, oh, it's not really catching on, and then he started to clearly kind of break away from this bottom back pack, but still behind Mayor Pete. And as Bloomberg rose, Mayor Buttigieg fell, and so Bloomberg passed Mayor Pete Buttigieg, and then he went into this really period of rapid ascension where he then passed Senator Elizabeth Warren and was right on Joe Biden's heels. So you can see there's a clear increase in terms of that, and so that was one of the big factors. So that was the Bloomberg rise, and this was a big factor because he's a billionaire, right? And so that was another layer of interesting because he pretty much just got all this support through get buying all these TV ads, right? No other candidate was able to do that, and he passed all of these people who have been running for like a year, right? All in just like this, who've been putting a lot of work, right? The people like Senator Klobuchar, Andrew Yang, Cory Booker, people like Cory Booker. Who's that grey line? Tom Steyer, Tulsi Gabbard. A lot of people who've been running for a while had been passed by this mayor of New York. Sorry about that. Just having some water. But the Mayor Bloomberg, very interesting rise. He did kind of see it kind of at least slow down after that debate. But it's interesting to see Warren did not get any bounce from that debate. If anything, she decreased her support, while Bloomberg sort of, he was still, surging, right? Still going up, but to a lesser extent than going up from here to here and then kind of trying to flatten the curve, right? Warren flattened the curve of Bloomberg, but at the same time she went down herself, so that might not be the best strategy. Um, so after that debate, we could see Yang obviously dropped out after New Hampshire, so probably the debate was around here, and so she pretty much stayed the same, Elizabeth Warren, while Bloomberg just kind of also increased a little bit. But oh, and Mayor Pete Buttigieg fell after that first debate, and also Klobuchar, Steyer, Gabbard all trailing off. So Bloomberg rise into top tier contention, and then falls flat in his face on Super Tuesday, which is where he put all his eggs into one basket in Super Tuesday, and he only won American Samoa, so that's probably not the best result, and not the result the Bloomberg campaign might have been hoping for. Okay, and number three, this was one of the major takeaways from this race, the Elizabeth Warren surge and fall. And this is the problem with peaking too early in presidential politics, right? You could see Warren, she peaked too early. Kamala Harris, she peaked too early. Even Pete Buttigieg peaked too early. I'd say that Sanders peaked at around the right time. He peaked when Iowa was about to go. Klobuchar also peaking at about the right time, and Joe Biden peaking at about the right time for his campaign as well. But Elizabeth Warren definitely peaking too early, and it was, I think the campaign was a bit delusional to think that they would be able to hold this kind of level, because after that, once they started going down, and they just started to going down, probably by here they knew the writing was on the wall, that they would just continue to fall. And this is very interesting. Warren is just slip, 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 and then what's interesting is with Biden support is it just kind of seems to go with the media narrative, right? It goes up, then it goes down, up, down, right? Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Whereas Sanders, yes, he has that to an extent, but the peaks and the valleys are not as big as Biden's. And especially with people like Warren, there was one massive peak, and then for one day she overpassed Biden in the national average, and then boom, Warren goes right back down, slipping. She was like, oh, I'm still, top tier when she was about here, and then, oh no, I'm kind of slipping back with Bernie, and then, oh no, I'm behind Bernie, and will I continue to fall behind Buttigieg? Now, that didn't happen. She kind of stabilized at about 15%, and then Bernie started to see a surge after that, and Biden's just riding high until after Iowa and New Hampshire. He saw a massive dip, but yeah, okay. So, oh, whoops, that's for tomorrow. So you just saw that second Sanders massive rise, and you can probably guess what number one is. But Elizabeth Warren, I mean, at this point, many people were saying she's the most likely Democratic nominee for president, and I could see why. I mean, I think I had her at one or two in some of my 2020 outlines, but at the end of the day, she peaked way too early. You never want to peak too early. People like Jeb Bush, he peaked too early. Hillary Clinton peaked too early in 2008 and 2016. Many people are peaking too early in order to have a moment, and they think, oh, I'll be able to sustain it, but you really can't. So you really don't want to peak too early, because if you peak too early, then you're getting attacked as the front runner, and then if you are leading, then you do get attacked as the front runner, and so yeah, so Elizabeth Warren's Surgeon Floor and the Bloomberg Rise, two big storylines, and it's worth noting that with the Bloomberg Rise, he later did fall back to around the Warren levels, but he didn't really go right back down, whereas Elizabeth Warren did go right back down. So that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Good night.